Honestly, I thought you were the problem in the relationship. I looked at you as less than. I didn't look at you as my equal. I put my business above you. And this thing that had started out so pure as providing turned into a prison and a chasm between you and me.
I wish we just had a conversation sooner to be like, this is what we want for our marriage, so that we can still keep the spark alive, still prioritize each other, and not get like lost in the hustle of providing and showing up for your clients and having me as like an afterthought.
Welcome back to the Late Night Date Night podcast. And on this episode, we're going to talk about how to have a successful marriage while being an entrepreneur. There's a ton of challenges in building a business at the same time trying to build a marriage. A lot of times I feel like I was going to war, trying to find new business, build a business, get new clients, and then I would come home and we'd be in fights. We learned a lot of lessons along the way, both in therapy and just through the dumb shit that we've done. So I hope you guys take a couple things from this, because this one, well, it's filled with a lot of juice, and even a conversation about the most recent fight that we had where we ended up in a ball pit. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
There's a conversation that I wish we had much sooner in our relationship. And it's this conversation on what we wanted for our marriage and for our life once we made the commitment to be together forever. I feel like in the beginning of our relationship, you have all of these like butterflies, and we just wanted to spend all of our time together. We were working together, we were going to yoga class together, and then we were swapping off between like who was going to stay at whose place every single night. And then we made the commitment to buy in a place together. Eventually we got married, found out we were pregnant like 2 weeks later, and we were buying a new house like all at the same time. And so we had this major life shift from like this dating to married and very serious, but also going to have a kid. And so the dynamics, I feel like, changed. And I think that put a lot of pressure on you, you know, as the entrepreneur and the provider to provide for our family financially. But what I really wish is, knowing all of that and knowing the circumstances and our situation, I wish we just had a conversation sooner to be like, this is what we want for our marriage, so that we can still keep the spark alive, still prioritize each other, and not get like lost in the hustle of providing and showing up for your clients and having me as like an afterthought.
I mean, that's all you were at the time. It's really challenging. I don't have any guilt and shame around it anymore, but I did for a long time, of just going back and looking how my clients got the best of me and you got the rest of me. My cell phone and my emails were more important than in-person conversations with you. I would walk in through the home, and instead of connecting with you, I was so still connected to my business and everything I had to do that you just became an afterthought. And in the beginning, it was, I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this to create freedom for us. But inevitably, while that intention was pure, it got skewed, because I had put something on a pedestal that I never had before. Money. You came from money. I didn't come from money. Even my sister's like, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, yo, you weren't even there. Like your childhood, right? Like you got to experience some of the fruit. Not that my parents are bad, but we just didn't have like, extra funds. They gave us a great childhood, but we didn't have extra funds. So I ended up putting money on a pedestal. And that became the catalyst for me justifying my actions. And unfortunately, you are the one who had to go through that own personal growth and development.
Yeah, it was very lonely. Like I wanted you to show up, and I remember you coming home, when you were working real estate. Sometimes I would even like catch you in your car, like, oh, he pulled up, but he's not going to come inside for a little bit. And then sometimes you'd even like walk in the door on the phone, laptop open, backpack on, like, hey, I got to finish this contract. We got to get this done like right now. And at the time, the market was really hot. And so I like understood that, but it still drove a pretty big wedge into our relationship, where my love language is quality time. And I felt like your quality time was just spent in your business or with your friends after work.
Yeah. Well, the real estate market and my lack of maturity as a man created bad habits, and providing became a version of hiding. I would just cover up my work because here's was the thing about what was going on too. I was making all of this money, which was amazing because I was filling this gap inside of me. I was getting this external validations from my clients and my colleagues. I was getting awards. My bank account, our bank account was just stacking with cash. And it was much easier to talk to them than deal with the shit in the house. And so I avoided the hard conversations, but I would mask it as like, oh, I'm working or I'm busy. We'll get to this later. We'll talk about it on date night or we'll go on a vacation. And it was just empty promise after empty promise after, empty conversation because all I was doing was justifying my actions by the market's conditions. Now, I will say that the market was moving fast, but my business didn't blow up until I put boundaries in place. And so all of that was it was a mask because I didn't want to deal with it. Honestly, I thought you were the problem in the relationship. Yeah. Straight up. I remember going into therapy. You decided, because you were working at Wazi Digital still?
I don't know.
You were working at Visible, and I was coming from a showing. We get there and you're late. You're like 10 minutes late. And I was like, classic Lizzi. She's going to show up for her own fucking funeral late, right? But we're sitting there. And I remember you coming in late. And it was one of those moments where I was just like all high and mighty because I had done therapy before. You had never done therapy. Yeah. Right? And so I remember sitting there.
Yeah, I did. I had a therapist.
Before we did this?
Before a couples therapist, yes.
Okay. Well, then it was mostly probably just like, oh, I got some reps in this. I know what this therapist needs to hear.
Well, you built the relationship just by sitting there with him being like...
Well, okay.
And then I walk in late.
Well, you walk in late, and I remember there just being this moment of me just being like, well, I know who we're talking about today because it's not me. And then all of a sudden it was about you, right? And he was talking about you and you fucking did what?
I got pissed.
You got pissed.
Yeah.
And then he bent it towards me. And I remember being in that conversation being like, oh shit. I looked at you as less than. I didn't look at you as my equal. I put my business above you. And this thing that had started out so pure as providing turned into a prison and a chasm between you and me.
Well, I remember that therapy session too, where I did not want to come and I knew I was running late. And because I was having the internal debate within myself of like, do I still want to deal with this relationship anymore? Like, is this therapy session even worth showing up for?
Great question.
Because of what we were going through. It felt like I was just the problem. And like, I felt like you were the problem as well.
And unfortunately, it takes a man waking up, right, because of something, some type of pain in order to do it. And the pain that woke me up to realizing that I was part of the problem in the relationship was when I lost $60,000 on a real estate transaction. You and I got into this massive fight in our home. You had thrown like something at me, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. So I remember packing my bag and going into the car, and I didn't even tell you where I was going. And I drove to the hotel down over here, like right off 25, which is sketchy as shit. Don't recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. And I booked a hotel room and I went in there and I fell asleep. Well, I tried to sleep. The next morning I woke up, I went to the gym, did my workout, and then I went on this listing appointment. And it was my first like $2 million listing. And the commission check on that was going to be like $62,000. And I went in like knowing how to do a consultation. But when I sat down, I crushed it. I felt like I crushed it. And then I went back to the hotel because I still wasn't ready. I had already checked out. And then I checked into another room. I thought I was coming home, but I wasn't ready. Really? I didn't even book it for 2 nights. I booked it for 1 night. So I stayed there the next night, do the whole gym routine. On my way into the office that morning, right, because you had been blowing me up and I was just ignoring it. I wasn't dealing with it. I get a call from the client and I pick the call up and the guy, I'll never forget it. He goes, Sergio, we love you. We loved everything you had to say. We just got a better feeling from the other agent. It was the first time that I realized that our chaos in our marriage was starting to impact our business. And I had to take a step back and I was like, she's not the only part of this. She's not the only problem. Yeah, it's you too, dude. And that was the thing. And so I had this illusion in my brain that I was doing this all for the family and that I was all high and mighty. And I think a lot of guys sit in this place and feel, I provide. And it's like, yeah, but you're also being a fucking dickhead. And so you can mask it and tell whatever story you want that you're doing it for the family. But if you're not showing up as the man and the husband and the father that is needed in a relationship, you're not doing it for anybody except that little boy inside you that's still hurting.
Yeah. And as the stay-at-home mom at that time, like I loved being home with the kids. I still do, very much so. And I'm very grateful for the work that you do put into your business to be able to allow me this situation and all that. But there are, certain points where like I want you around, or I wanted you around to be part of this little family that we created with just the three of us at the time. And so for us, it took us a lot longer, I feel like, to figure out what the better balance was and how to reprioritize, our needs and our schedule to make sure that like you get your time, I get my time, we get time together, and we get time as family. And I hope that by, sharing our situation, that people can have the intentional conversations to be able to get them out of this state where like you were just gone and I felt like I was just a solo mom.
Yeah, and I think the conversations that allow us to like reprioritize things without slowing down the business were big. Because one of the things that I wanted was I wanted the great marriage with you. That's why we were in couples therapy. So it's not like I was just going there for no reason. Like I wanted to be with you, but I didn't want to give up a high successful business because there's something important for me in that. Like I liked the purpose. I liked what I was doing. I was good at it. Very few things in my life that I finally hit the pocket and I was good at it. And I was like, holy shit, this is what happens when you're just like at the right place, at the right time, in the right season, doing the right work, you create all of these results. And so I thought that us working on the marriage and me showing up more as a husband, as a father, and more quality time, more date nights was going to slow it down, but it did the complete opposite. It actually became the jet fuel that took me from like $500,000 a year to 7 figures a year. And this is one of the things that I couldn't wrap my mind around until I realized that the chaos and the pain was like an artery wound and I was bleeding out and I had no energy. And this is what happens when we were in chaos and we were fighting all the time. I didn't trust my decision making anymore. I wish my energy was off, which meant my clients could feel it, my colleagues could feel it, people could feel it. And at the end of the day, I was just constantly irritable and miserable. And nobody wants to work with somebody like that.
Right.
So the reprioritization was critical. And it started with what?
A conversation with the two of us. I think I was like, well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, then why do we have to live this life where it's like a 9 to 5 and even longer than that sometimes? Like how come we can't build a life that we actually want and that we're proud of and love? Went through this whole exercise that you lead your clients through to build a vision for what we want in our life and in our marriage, and being very intentional to try and speak each other's love language, like you planning date nights for us. You're also like so kind and so good at like the little like notes that you leave me either on like the coffee pot or like prepping my breakfast if I'm going to the gym early in the morning and then coming back and swapping off with you, like having those things done for me, I feel like are just little like deposits into like a love bank where it's like, oh, he does care. He doesn't actually just care about his business. It's like those small things that just add up over time.
Yeah, it was the little things. And I remember telling you, all I want is for you to tell me I'm doing a good job, for you to give me hugs and a kiss once in a while. Not even to like initiate sex, just because like I wanted to know that you love me. And at the same time, I initiate sex from time to time. And that was it.
Yeah.
And it was you pouring into me and sharing things with me and telling me I was doing a good job and just making me at the same time feel like appreciated, that I really believe changed a lot of things. But there's also this piece that we had to clean up. And it was a lot of resentment and anger. Kind of left you in the dust.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm out. Peace. Not just in the business, but in my own personal growth and development. You see, as an entrepreneur, from what I've been told, we can be very challenging to be in relationships with. We're constantly pushing. It feels like nothing's ever enough. Even when you've gotten the thing that you want, it's, hey, let's see if we can do this or do it this way. And I can only imagine it's a roller coaster. And so when we had to clean up that resentment, I guess I'm always just curious, what did it feel like for you to get left behind?
Well, I remember you hired your first coach out in LA and you'd go
Kevin Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, you'd go out to these events for like the week or so. And you'd come home and you'd be so amped up and like, we're going to do this, this, and this. And like, here's my vision for what I want. And I'd be like, that's great, honey. Like, I think a part of me was...
Whoa. It was not met with, that's great, honey.
Well,
it was more, because we were struggling, it was more meant with like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's how I would have too. Like if you had come home after like an event in LA and you're like, hey, you know everything we've been doing? Fuck that. We're going to throw that in the trash. We're going to try this. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I think I was a little bit jealous that you were like on this journey and like doing things and probably sharing your things about your life that like we didn't have that connection like when you came home. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Let me try that over.
No, just keep, I know what you're trying to say. I went out there and I shared my emotions, my feelings, my darkness, the things that I was struggling with a bunch of people that didn't really know me.
Yes.
And it was the one thing that you wanted.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a part of my life. And because I was talking to other people about it, because I finally felt like somebody gave a shit. Mm-hmm. Not that you didn't. I finally felt like somebody gave a shit. I opened up. Yeah,
and I just wanted that. And I think that resentment just grew over time because you were growing and, able to have those relationships and the different coaching with the coaches that you worked with and with the people that were part of that program. And you'd come home and you'd talk about it. And I feel kind of like lonely and isolated and like left behind. And like I was just the problem all along. And so it really put a spotlight on the things that weren't working on within myself, because deep down I knew that like some of the challenges that I was having at work were related to me, and like I don't want to go to work and have like me be like this toxic person that makes everyone else's life harder. And so it took me a long time to really like own that and work through some of those things and the beliefs that I had about myself when you'd give me feedback, to actually like understand and own that like those are just things that I'm telling myself and I can't take them so personally or like be so defensive.
I felt like you were resentful that I was on this personal growth path, investing in myself, growing me, which was at an accelerated rate because all I know is how to go full crackhead, full send into everything. And then before you know it, it's like, I don't recognize you anymore.
Yeah.
So there was resentment against that. Was there ever a resentment with the business?
Yeah, I think I had resentment just towards the amount of time that you would dedicate towards it. Like I felt like you have always been a very early riser. And so you get up, go to the gym, come home, get right back into your business until like 6, 7 p.m., and then at that time it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll just sit on the couch and like veg out and pretend that's how we build a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No, I laugh. I laugh because like so many guys are like, yeah, dude. Then I coach like, yeah, dude, we just kind of, sit on the couch, watch Netflix and, order out. I'm like, that's not a fucking date night. They're like, how do you know? I was like, because I used to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in my mind, I was like justifying it as like, all right, once we make enough money, then we can work on the relationship.
Right.
But I feel like inevitably you're just like, I'm not fucking waiting, dude. I want this now.
Yeah. Well, and I think we are just so disconnected from what I actually wanted in a relationship and was just going through the motions to like keep the peace in our relationship instead of having the hard conversation and fighting for more in our relationship to have that like emotional intimacy that we have now.
Yeah. I think it also takes hearing it from somebody that is not your family member or your spouse for you to realize the mistakes you're making.
Yeah.
So I knew there was resentment there from the personal growth and development. I knew that there was resentment from the business because my clients were, dude, they were the people. They were getting all of me. And I was doing all of this work to work out and meditate and ground myself. And then you would get none of it and they would get all of it. And then even on the weekends, they would get all of it. And you're like, why do I keep getting the worst version of my husband?
Or like no version at all.
Which is almost worse. Actually, it might be better than the dickhead version of me. I don't know. But I remember just sitting in this place and having this conversation with one of my coaches, Tim Adams. And he told me, he goes, if you do not grow with her, you will push her away.
Yep.
And that's the thing that kind of set me like down the path of like, I got to make some changes. I think it's critical for like the guys to understand you can be committed to becoming the best version of you. But if your wife doesn't join the journey, you might as well get a divorce attorney, because inevitably it will create such a gap between you and her that she will start to resent you. You will resent her for not coming along with you. She won't even know how to come along. And because of that, you'll just drift and drift and drift and drift, and there's no coming back.
Yeah, it's kind of like a scary place to be in, where you're growing. I feel left behind. I feel like I was the problem because I knew deep down there were things that I needed to work on, but I had to be able to just like sit in my pain long enough to be like, okay, I need help. And then I made the decision to go back into therapy and to work through my things that I needed to.
And I had to allow you to sit in the pain because I wanted to save you.
Yes. And
not because you needed it, but because I loved you. And it's hard to watch somebody, right, put their hand in the fire and then go, I wonder why this hurts. And it's like, hey, just take your hand out. You're like, that's not the fire. It's not the fire. I'm like, it's 100% the fire. Just take your hand out. You're like, that's not it.
Yeah.
So eventually I was just like, burn your hand.
Well, it's tough because like in our relationship, we've had several conversations where I'm like, I don't want you to coach me. I just want you to listen to me. And I think even on my community call yesterday, some of the women were just mentioning.
More than mentioning, sorry, just jizzed all over myself with my water bottle.
Even on my community call yesterday, some of the women were just mentioning like, I feel like I need to just coach my husband and on like how to deal with this person. Whenever you've tried to coach me, I've been like, please don't do that, because it's like you're telling me everything that's wrong with me. And like, I don't want you to do that to me. I need to like figure it out on my own. And so it's different when it's coming from you versus like when it's coming from maybe someone else.
Of course it is. That's how it's supposed to be. And when I heard it from Tim, I came back and I was like, okay, I'm going to make some adjustments. So when it came to the business, you know, even in real estate, at the end, I tried to get you involved in some things. We did staging together. That was my attempt to get you involved, which worked for a little bit and then it didn't work, and that's fine. And then with Standard, what we're building now, right? This is getting you involved in it. You have your women's community call every Thursday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. If you would like the link, please drop it, your request below, and we'll give it to you. And you building your brand and you talking about your life, like it's all just you're building it with me. And so I personally made the decision that I was not going to do this by myself again. I don't mind being the front runner. I don't mind to be at the spear on the tip of the spear. I'll always do that. I'll go out front. I'll get fucked up. I'll come back. But to know that you're in it with me instead of just on the sidelines being like, or whatever you did as a Broncos cheerleader. Can you like do a quick hair whip for us, like a Broncos cheerleader?
No. Maybe after.
Okay. But to know that you're in the game and not on the sidelines makes me feel way better. And then when it came to the personal growth, I think it all started with us hiring Alyssa and Carter Montgomery in our fitness journey. And then it was you working with Bree Gentry. And then it was you starting your own community call. And then it was you and I creating a vision. Not all of this in that order. But it was just this cohesive moment where things started to come together after being so far apart. And it all like came together. And we say this on every podcast. It started with a shared vision. Just a shared vision. And the moment we started doing the work together, it was completely different.
Well, and like supporting each other through what we want. Because I think there were some things too, even when we did create that vision where you're like, I want to do this. And then I'd be like, but do we actually like want that? Like, because like, what about these things? You know, so it's like having that open communication with the two of us. So,
oh, you mean like when I'm like, if we can do it 10 times, let's do it 10,000 times. You're like, whoa. Yeah. That's also the problem. Like when I was doing drugs, I was like, oh, more is always better. More MDMA? Yeah. Oh, more cocaine? Yeah. More mushrooms? Yeah. It's not. It's like cooking with salt. You can't take it out once you put it in. And so to have you building it there with me, you were like, what if we look at the whole picture for a second?
Yeah.
That was super helpful.
Yeah. Well, and it just makes it more like realistic for me and for us. And like, it's something that like we're both striving to and can support each other through. Do
you like building together more than, because it comes with stress. It comes with stress and it comes with work and it comes with a level of tension. Do you like the pressure of doing this together more than the pressure that you felt of me building by myself?
Yes.
Why?
Because the business that you're in, of being a business and marriage and entrepreneur coach, means that you're talking about our relationship a lot, or different dynamics in our relationship that we've been through and we're not in anymore. And so it can be very uncomfortable having just you out there putting the spotlight on our relationship and things that I've done without having a voice to either to like tell my side of the story.
Do you feel like, but I don't feel like I've ever exposed shit that you've done.
Well, I think in the beginning when you started creating content about our marriage of like, she's angry, she's resentful, it was like, and maybe I was feeling very targeted at the time that like you put some of that content out because I hadn't fully healed from those incidents and whatnot. But it made me feel very like uncomfortable knowing that like that's how you were talking about our relationship without me like showing up to the table to like have a voice and explain like my side of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. Well, you know, in the beginning, I was saying, I was just going for shock value, I think. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing.
Well, it's not wrong, you know, it's not wrong, but it's like when it's just personal. And so...
Oh, okay, Michael Jordan, this is personal.
Well, it's personal.
All right,
so
okay,
like,
all right, dude, I didn't know you were such a Michael Jordan fan.
I don't know. I mean, if you're going to coach people on their relationships, like I want my side to be seen, heard, and understood as well.
I don't disagree with you. And that's what I love is because like I feel like we're building something together, but we're not in the same business. And what I mean by that is like I don't depend on you for anything in my business. Like this is fun for us.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
It's great.
Yeah.
But it's just this dynamic of like our life is the business. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you know, I come back to we got into this massive fight on Sunday. And if I could put a camera up and live stream the whole thing, people would have been like, holy shit, what the fuck? Because it was these old patterns and old ways of thinking. There was screaming. Mm-hmm. There was, you know, one trying to walk off and the other person's like, no, come back. And it was disgusting, honestly.
It's a version of us from like 3 years ago that we're not anymore.
No. And it was in that moment as I'm sitting there, even because there was like this moment, like a third of the way through, I just started laughing.
I know. The balls fell out.
We have to describe this, even though it's so toxic and so bad. It's so fucking funny. We're in the middle of the fight and you're so angry. And there's this point and like sometimes in the fight where you start saying stuff. And I think I was just like,
You're mocking me.
I start mocking you, which is so bad, which is so mean. But it's like what I would do to my friends. But anyway, you're sitting there and you're just getting so angry. And at this point, I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. And I'm like, you're just getting angry. I'm like, oh, are we getting angry? Oh. And you grabbed the boy's ball pit and you threw the whole thing at me and all the balls just hit me. And I was just like, I couldn't keep it together. I'm just laughing. And while it was so like fucked up in the moment, I was just like, this is absurd.
It is absurd. And I feel like it was God's way of being like, hey, you guys don't need to do this.
Yeah, I agree.
just like,
because I saw you smirk for a second, and then it was just like it went away. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're going 12 rounds. This will be fun.
Yep. And we just kept going with big, loud, angry voices.
And I think the reason I bring that up, you know, is because like as you're building something together, and you're changing things, and you're growing and evolving, there's this purification and this burning off of the old version of you. Mm-hmm. And it happens, and it's a reminder of how much you've grown and how much things have changed. And it showed me that is not us, that is not who we are. And I think it was a reminder for me of what happens if we're disconnected. Mm-hmm. None of this works if we're falling apart. Right. Because I was on a dark cloud for a few days, finally pulled out. You know, it's kind of like in Top Gun 2. I was just watching Luca loves right now. Top Gun 2, where he just like, he pulls the G's and he like, psh. Yeah. That's how I was feeling. But I remember just like pulling out of it and seeing like the whole thing differently. And it just reminded me just like how far we've come. Mm-hmm. And I think what this has allowed us to do, allowed me to do, is like us being on the same page has allowed this leadership in the home that I'm able to take over.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say leadership, all these fucking dumb feminists are out there being like, we don't need a man. I'm like, I didn't fucking say that you needed a man. That's not what I'm saying. But here's what I will say is there is a leader of the home. You know how I know this? Because when I started reading the Bible, guess who started reading the Bible just a few months later?
Me.
When I got jacked and juicy at 41, who do you think got jacked and juicy at 35?
Me.
When I started prioritizing my health and fitness, who do you think just started doing it next?
Me, to a next level.
To the next level. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that you're just conforming to what I do? No. It just means I'm living my life at a standard that allows the family to be its absolute best. And because of the results, you're like, yeah, I want more of that. And then you join forces, and now we're like two Jedi fighting the same, Sith Lord. Right. And now you have no idea what any of this means. But now we're in this place of being like, hey, we're fighting the battle with one another instead of against each other.
Yeah. And
the only reason we're able to do this is because there's a shared vision. The shared vision that you and I have created allows me to course correct when we need to course correct, lane correct when we need to lane correct, hold a mirror up to you, and at the same time tell you, hey, listen, I know that I fuck up a lot too, and I want to give you permission to do the same. Mm-hmm. And it's no longer about the dirty we're not fighting about the dirty dishes or the laundry or the ball pit. We're fighting for something that we want. Mm-hmm. And that's been one of the coolest pieces about this, is going from this completely disconnected marriage where I was building a business, I was more in love with my clients than you, I was chasing money, to now building this dream and this vision and this life together that came out of nothing to something, all because you and I sat down on a couch, completely vulnerable and open, speaking the truth, and we talked about one simple thing. What do we want?
Yeah, what type of marriage do we want, and who are those types of people that have that relationship? And so then when you can have that conversation and you have that image in your mind, it makes all of the fights in the basement where there's big, loud, angry voices and balls spilling all over, that's the contrast of we're not those people. Let's not go back there. Yeah. It's a reminder of how far we've come, but it's also a reminder of the pain of holding on to those old ways of being is greater than actually choosing to evolve and make a different decision.
Yeah. And for me, I could feel the moment that we started to veer off course. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's almost like the momentum hit the brakes.
Yeah.
And it's like we were driving and somebody just pulled the e-brake, and now all of a sudden we're in park again, even though we had all this momentum moving forward. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean we've taken steps back. It just means we've slowed it down.
Yeah.
And so then there's the rebuilding process and the reconnection process and the forgiveness process, all of which allows us to just get back on track to where we're going and continue to move.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to what we've done as a couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the work that we are willing to do on ourselves, because it is that purification season of okay, well, I had to sit in the pain from, last Sunday and really understand what was coming up for me. It's not about just being late to church. It's about what I'm telling myself when you're saying that I just want to be 10 minutes early so we can drop the boys off and maybe connect with someone and start building a community there, which I want too. And so it is sharing that vision piece again. But then coming back to it, it's what was I telling myself about you speaking your truth? And it's that I wasn't good enough, and I'm not trying hard enough, and I need to do more, and all the things, that I had to realize and sit with, and know and deeply trust that I'm not that person. I know who I am. I just made a poor decision that morning to try and do too much in order for us to leave a little bit later than we needed to.
And I'm glad we're talking about that, because the fight was never about me saying that you're not good enough, you're not enough, I need you to do more, that you need to be perfect. It was never that about that. It was, hey, I'm not living in this fucking chaos place again, because every time we're in chaos, everything we're going after becomes impossible.
Well, yeah, and then I personally went through the week just feeling not confident about us, feeling disconnected from you, disconnected from myself. And you don't want to live in that state where
no,
we're just two people
operating. Not at all. I agree.
Yeah.
And it's just, anyway. I'm going to come back and just say this. If you don't have a vision, if there is no vision, there is no future. Mm-hmm. And if there is no future, you're in a marriage that's just dying. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to be okay with that. But at any given moment, you can sit down, both of you, in a place of vulnerability and curiosity, which takes a decision. Hey, I'm willing to let go of all the shit in the past. I'm willing to let go and put down my sword and not fight you anymore for something that I want. Are you willing to do the same? Yes? Cool, let's talk. And it's in that place that you don't bring up old shit, you don't bring up anything, you just talk about what you actually want. And then you forgive and you go. It's easier said than done. Yeah, no fucking shit. Everything in life is easier said than done.
Yeah.
But you know what's hard? Is regret.
Yeah. And staying where you're at if you're already in the pain and disconnection in your relationship.
I love it. You look good.
You look good.
It's because I am good. Listen, thank you for joining again this week. This has become one of our favorite things to do. It brings us closer together. If you found this helpful, impactful, go ahead and leave us a review, 5 stars if you love it. If you think that we both should just stop recording and take our faces off the internet and you hate us, give us a 1. That's fine too. Wherever you're at in life is fine with us. Either way, come follow us on Instagram at Lizzi Ray, at Sergio Nazaro. And until next time, take care. Peace.